little girls, we start getting programmed to look for happily ever after, and the dude that rides in on the right white steed to save us and deliver us from evil and all that old shit that they talk about in fairy stories. But unfortunately, as we mature, we move through our teens and even, further out, we are faced with the reality that men aren't like in the fairy stories. They aren't dreams of it. They're more like a nightmare. And, they require a lot of work. Now, people, when they're telling you about all the magic of love and marriage and of having a family, being a wife and all that stuff, they tend to leave out those gory details. They just focus on the good stuff because they want to get you in that trick bag too. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of benefits to being married. But if you don't go into it with your eyes open and know exactly the kind of man that you signing on for and exactly what it is that he wants from you, and figure out exactly if it's something that you want to be bothered with, and if you can give it to him, and if you want to give it to him for 20 or 30 years, I mean, there's a lot to think about. So, but what I want to do in this video is talk about some of the broad types. There are different types of guys out there. And I want to just run through a list that I put together and kind of share some ideas for the types of guys that you should be on the lookout for. And if you see this kind, he's showing any traits or signs of being this type of dude, you really need to back away from him and really think about, continuing in that relationship, especially if you're looking for him to be a husband. No. I mean, you could do it. I'm not, you grown, do what you want to do. But I'm just telling you that's a foolish decision. It's one that you will soon regret. And it's one that could, have the potential to have some children involved. And, all the shit that goes on with custody disputes and all that stuff. I mean, why do all that? Just spend the time up front vetting the guy. Take your time and figure out who and what this fucker is. And then if it's somebody that's, that's cool, then you move forward. If he shows signs of being an idiot, you don't try to pretend like it'll be different after you get married, or you can, with your love, it's going to magically change, or once you whip this on him, he going to be, suddenly see the light. You're going to hear angels singing and rainbows and shit. It doesn't happen like that. So, a lot of women get stuck because I saw this on a comment on my what you call it channel the other day, and I had to laugh. People was talking about we should get with men for their potential. And I already talked about this in one of the videos in the 25 series that I did last summer on the manipulative things black men do. You cannot, past the age of 25, get with a man based on his potential, because definitely by the age of 30, whatever potential he has is he's there. That's it. What you see is what you get. That's pretty much the best it's gonna get. So you got somebody 30 years old talking about he's trying to break into the rap game or something. You know what I mean? You better really take a look at what he's talking about. So you got to keep an eye out anyway. Keep an eye out for these types of guys. Each woman is going to have a different level of tolerance for bullshit. You know what I mean? Mine is super low. Mine is like almost underground. So I just no, no, I'm not doing it. But some women, they have more patience or whatever. And so we'll just call these guys high risk. Let's use that term. They're high risk, and I really don't think they should ever advance to the level of husband, because that requires that you depend on this person, that you will have some kind of interdependent relationship with them, and they're incapable of providing that. You just be in a relationship by yourself. So let's go. Let's do this list. Number one is the insecure guy. These guys are needy and they clingy and they constantly need reassurance of how much you love them, how great they are, how handsome they are, how good they think he is, just whatever. If they spit, you'd be like, oh, honey, that was the most magnificent gob of spit I've ever seen. They need all that kind of stuff, all that kind of adoration. And you see a lot of them on social media, right? Picture all up in there, they grinning and shit. Name all up there, where they work all up there. And they these are the kind of dudes, like if somebody says something good about men, it's like black men have this really bad, and then but men in general, because they all be falling for it of different ethnicities. So if some woman gets on there and says all this stuff about good stuff about men, they eat that shit up. They just feel positively defined. Oh, thank you, Queen. It's so nice to be recognized. It's so wonderful. Oh my God. And they just eat that shit up. And it's so pitiful. It's like you don't have anybody in your life that thinks you wonderful enough to compliment you offline. You got to look for it online from complete strangers. That's sad. You really shouldn't post comments that let people know that about you. You should keep that a secret. Don't tell folks that because you just look stupid. You just look stupid, and everything that you post online stays there forever. So you will forever look stupid. There's no going back from that. So, I don't know. These guy types too, they don't take criticism very well. So if you have problems in your relationship, which all relationships do, and you bring it to his attention, he's going to try to dismiss it. He's going to get real defensive, and he'll dismiss it as you nagging at him. Or you just bringing noise, and you ain't never happy, and this and that. Instead of looking at the fact that your woman is telling you there's something wrong here, it's disturbing our relationship, it's making it not be peaceful in our house, you need to address it. You want to be the leader and in charge and shit. That's what leaders do. When there's a problem, they squelch the shit. They deal with it and they fix it. You just try to ignore it and sweep it under the rug because you don't want to hear it. That's not a leader. So that's one thing that to do, and they just ignore stuff until it festers and ultimately the relationship goes up in smoke, and then they be like, these women don't know what they want. Yes, they do. You just weren't giving it to them. So you got to be very careful when you got a guy who's very jealous and possessive, and who's checking up on you all the time, and who needs all that empty flattery and propping up and stuff. Them insecure dudes will just suck you dry, and they create a lot of problems, and battered women shelters are full of women who have insecure dudes. So number two, the angry, physically, emotionally, or verbally abusive dude. A lot of women don't understand emotional abuse. Everybody knows physical abuse, of course, and then verbal abuse, all the name calling, all that stuff. But emotional abuse is tends to be pretty subtle. Sometimes you don't really know that that's what's happening to you. You just know that you feel really bad. But these dudes normally they hide these abusive traits until they get you attached to them. A lot of them will be the ones who really put the bum rush on you. They really try to get you all involved in a relationship real quick. A lot of calls, a lot of dates back to back, and really long dates to make you feel like you've been around them longer than you really have. It's a smoke screen, a mind trick. So don't fall for that. So then, but usually it starts with little stuff. Like they make a little negative comment about something that you're wearing or something you did, some little criticism, and you kind of feel the sting, but you don't really, it's nothing that you can really like blow up about. So you think, see me, I have a hair trigger. I was a motherfucker who thought that, because you just say anything. It's like, oh, why you wear that colored nail polish? Because I goddamn fucking felt like it, motherfucker. It's like when you become the nail polish of the goddamn world, then you can tell me what color to wear. Tell them shut your fucking face. See, that's me. So they don't really tend to say too much to me. Maybe the first time, and then they get an earful, and then they shut up. But most ladies will be like, oh, you don't like this color? Oh, well, next time I'll get, what color do you like? They'd be all like that. I'm like, fuck you. So, and then they make little things, something they'll maybe try to disguise it as a joke, and then if you get upset, oh, you have no sense of humor, you too sensitive. Or they start calling you some serious names like stupid, bitch, fat, ugly. You never know what's going to happen next because his anger goes on and off like a switch. So, you always finding yourself kind of measuring your words and thinking about what you're going to say before you actually say it because you don't want them, you don't want to trigger him. And a lot of these guys I have found are they have some prison time under their belt. They're ex-cons. Now, being in prison is one of the best places to learn how to game on women. I'm telling you, they don't have shit else to do. So they sit around and tell each other, stuff. So when they get out, they can use some woman for a place to stay, for some money on, in their pocket, some clothes on their back and all this stuff, food in their stomach. It's all a game to them. They're like sociopaths are bred in prisons. So when these guys come out, they know how to manipulate women with their words and their flash anger, because I mean, that's like a necessary survival tool. When they get up, they have to have somebody to take care of them because they don't come out with anything and they don't come out with jobs or, nothing. They come out with nothing. So they need somebody to lean on and basically to use. So, these guys, you got to be real careful of those ones who, they want to playfully twist your arm or playfully, slap you and knuckle your forehead and all kind of crazy little shit they do. The emotional abuse is, like you come in, you cooked for them or something, and then all they're going to tell you is, this shit is nasty. Who told you knew how to cook? This and that. This tastes like dog food. Little things they'll put down what you do to make you feel small and worthless. Okay, so you got to be on the lookout for that. If you notice any kind of undue criticisms or him just criticizing you for anything, like the latest thing for brothers is to criticize black women on their weaves. It's like you motherfuckers, don't you have some serious shit to think about? Like how many of your nappy headed asses are locked up in fucking prison being useless? When you get out, you ain't about shit. Coming out here with some diseased dicks, spreading diseases all through the community, raping kids and shit, committing all kinds of crazy crimes. You need to think about that. Okay, that's something important. Think about some job training for the youths. Get them in some, check or something. Get them off the streets and make them pull up their pants and look like something. Instead, you focusing on women's weaves, motherfucker. They 2-bit pieces of shit. They don't have shit else to do. Oh my God. Point three. Now, we're talking about the kind of dude you want to run from. Now, there'd be a whole bunch of them online talking about don't date single mothers. Well, I say the same thing. Don't date them baby daddy types. The motherfuckers with kids all over the place, got 3 or 4 kids by 3 or 4 different women. Why would you even mess with it? Because I see these stories online, Oh, I had a baby with Marcellus, and then I found out that he had 12 other kids by 10 different women. Okay, but didn't you vet dude? I mean, you can ask around. Most of these dudes don't travel in a circle too far from, their central point. So you ask around, you find somebody that knows his story. So, but that's why I say, don't be getting pregnant by these motherfuckers. If you're not married to them, you don't need to be having a baby. You just don't do that. And then you avoid these kind of situations. So, I mean, everybody might have one kid, one, because they were a teenager or younger. Okay, they made a mistake. But my grandfather used to say, once is a mistake, twice is a habit. So see, if you got 2 or 3 or 4 kids by 2 or 3 or 4 different women, then you have a problem. You have a problem being responsible with your seed. So, then if you get with a dude, then you got to deal with all that drama that comes with him and them kids and that their mamas. Not to mention, if he's on paper, they're gonna be knee deep up in his wallet, and if you marry him, they're gonna be knee deep in yours. So I mean, you got to be thinking about that kind of stuff. I mean, if you want to fool around with him or whatever, make sure your birth control is tight, and then do what you got to do, and then put his ass in the wind, because you don't want nothing. You don't want no parts of that. That's just a losing. That's a sinking ship. That's going nowhere fast. He gonna be, dealing with some drama for at least the next 18 years, and I don't recommend that any woman sign on for that trip. Point number 4: the dude who's unsure of what he wants, or he's distant, or he's a player. Now I put them all together because they kind of overlap, but this guy, like you say, you want a serious relationship. Well, he's not sure. Let's just go with the flow. Let's just see how things go. Why you putting the mash on a brother? Or he's, you want to get closer to him. You want to like have more intimate knowledge of who and he is, what he thinks about, his history, what's caused him pains, what are his desires for life. I mean, you want to get to really know him. Instead, he shuts down. He pushes you away. I know one dude, he used to tell his wife, get out of my head. And she was always looking dismayed because she was married to a guy that she really didn't know. He would never let her in. So she felt very lonely in their marriage. So you have a man who distances himself from you during the dating phase. Please understand, it's not going to get better after you marry him. It's just going to be the same. And you're going to be in your marriage feeling like you'll be married. You might even have some kids. But you're going to feel like you're all alone because he's not really, you guys aren't really a couple. He's just 2 people like sharing some space. There's a difference. I don't know. These guys, basically that kind of relationship It's set up so that he gets all the benefits of a commitment without any of the, the real risk, the real emotional investments that are required to have a solid, stable, emotionally fulfilling relationship for both parties. He's not going to do it. And the players, of course, are worse because they just dib dabbing around. I mean, they might be with you and even married, and then it's going to still feel like he need to keep his options open, and that he has the right to do so. So if you run into a dude with that kind of mentality, don't be thinking that your love or your sex or time is going to change him. He is what he is. And I know a lot of people are like, well, he got with this one woman and then he settled down. Right. But she didn't make him settle down. He decided that on his own. And that's the difference. He decided that that woman, what she was talking about, he better toe the line because whatever value he placed on her, he decided that he wanted to be with her more than he wanted to do this other stuff. But for the most part, I say 95% of the cases, that's not what happens, okay, because you ain't that woman. Number 5, the judgmental, critical dude. These, oh my God. In the beginning, you feel like, oh, like you're just this queen. I mean, he just put you on a pedestal. He's all full of compliments and flattery of you about everything. But slowly things switch up. He stops focusing on how great, grand, and wonderful you are and starts to say stuff that starts picking you apart. It's nothing really, too deep, but it just shows there's like, chips in your paint. Let's put it that way. There's little chips in your paint, and so he's going to start to chip at, what you wear and how you talk and your hobbies and your interests, your figure, your job, what you read, what you watch on TV, the type of music you like. I mean, whatever he can find and nitpick about, that's how they do it. And they start, just basically criticize every single thing that you do. And the stress is just unbelievable. So women who with men like this, they're always stressed out. They're always unhappy because they always feel like, he's never satisfied with them in any way. They can't really please him. And that's just exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting mentally, it's exhausting emotionally. And you always feel like, you're under a microscope when you're around him. You just can't even be comfortable, can't even fucking relax because he is always being really, critical of what you do and say. And point number 6, the control freak. Now these ones usually they have all kind of games, some of which I have outlined in previous videos. I don't remember the names of them right now because I'm headed towards 200 videos, so I'm gonna start forgetting them in a minute. But these types tend to start off real meek and mild, right? They're all solicitous and just like all buddy buddy and friendly and gentle and cooperative and all those kind of adjectives. But slowly, once you start to get, and more involved with him, you'll start to hear his belief systems that he wants to mold you into his vision of what a woman should be versus allowing you the space to be who you are and to love you for that person. He wants to break you down so he can build you up to be what he wants you to be. You got to be very careful about this type. And they basically see you as an extension of themselves. They don't see you as a separate entity. So if you are with them, they feel like everywhere you go, you represent them. Instead of saying, people don't even know that you with this motherfucker. So I mean, how you represent him? All they see is your face and your body. And you walking down the street and you ride in the bus and you ride on the train and you driving in your car. They don't see him. They don't know nothing about him. But in his mind, some of his essence left his body and went into yours. And so everywhere you go, he's there with you. Okay, control freak. He's a weirdo. And, so he always got these suggestions. Oh, I think you should change this. And I thought that this and that was out of style. And, you know, uh, I think that as a couple, we should think this way and we should do that and we should go here and you shouldn't do that because, that's not what a proper wife of mine does. They have all these rules and shit. And so, they want to just control everything that you do from your friends to where you go and, what you wear when you come home, whether you can go somewhere with your friends or have to stay home looking at his dried up ass. I mean, these guys and the women who believe in all that female submission, they be looking for you. Oh boy, they look for you because you are the prime target for guys like this. And they're going to beat you over the head with those scriptures that tell you you need to let him run your life, under the guise of submission. But I'm thinking, when you start hearing this kind of conversation, you need to tell him, throw up the deuces and say, the only thing that you get to control is how fast you move on your way out the door. You can run or you can walk, but you still leaving. So that's that. So I'm going to break this up because it's 13 of them all of the together. And that was just 1 through 6. And I will complete the rest of them tomorrow. And so we'll have 7 through 13. Bye bye.